The whispers of the Frost Peak Mountains spoke of many things: biting winds, ancient glaciers, and the silent, watchful eyes of creatures born of ice and snow. But amongst the hardy mountaineers and isolated villagers, one legend held a special ethereal glow, that of the ice panda. Not a creature of black and white fur, but of shimmering, crystalline scales and eyes like frozen sapphire. They said it appeared only when the northern lights danced with extraordinary fervor, a fleeting spirit of the deepest winter. In a secluded valley, cradled by towering, snow-laden peaks, lived a young ice panda named Lumina. Her fur wasn't the traditional monochrome of her distant relatives in warmer lands. Instead, it shimmered with iridescent blues and whites, blending seamlessly with the perpetual snowdrifts. Her eyes, indeed, were twin pools of glacial blue, reflecting the crisp mountain air. Unlike the solitary nature often attributed to her kind, Lumina carried a quiet curiosity within her, a longing to understand the world beyond her valley, a world she only glimpsed in the swirling patterns of the aurora borealis. Lumina's days were spent navigating the icy labyrinths of the valley, her broad paws surprisingly agile, gripping the slick surfaces with natural precision. She subsisted on rare, frost-kissed bamboo shoots that grew in geothermal pockets, their warmth a stark contrast to her own frigid existence. Her only companion was an ancient, wise mountain goat named Kael, whose horns were tipped with perpetual frost and whose bleating seemed to carry the wisdom of ages. "The world is vast, little one," Kael would often say, his breath misting in the sub-zero air. "And not all of it is as cold and pure as our peaks. There are dangers, but also wonders beyond imagining." Lumina listened, her crystalline ears twitching, absorbing every word. Her curiosity grew into a persistent ache. One particularly vibrant night, when the aurora pulsed with electric greens and violets, painting the sky in a cosmic tapestry, Lumina felt an undeniable pull. A sensation, warm yet familiar, beckoned her eastward, towards the lower, forested slopes. "I must go, Kael," she announced, her voice a soft chime. "The lights, they call to me." Kael, his ancient eyes fixed on the pulsating sky, nodded slowly. "The path is treacherous, Lumina. Many have sought the heart of the aurora, and few have returned unchanged. But your spirit, child of ice, is strong. Go, but remember the teachings of the Frost Peak: patience, resilience, and the cold logic of survival." With a final nuzzle against Kael's frosty fur, Lumina began her journey. The first few days were familiar, a descent through familiar snowy passes. But soon the snow began to thin, replaced by a dense, ancient forest. The air grew warmer, heavy with the scent of damp earth and pine. This new world was a sensory explosion for Lumina. The ground was soft, not hard ice. The trees swayed, not merely stood rigid. And the creatures, squirrels chattered, birds sang unfamiliar melodies, and unseen animals rustled in the undergrowth. She encountered her first human settlement on the third week. It was a small village nestled by a roaring river, its wooden houses huddled together, smoke curling from their chimneys. Lumina, accustomed to stark white and blue, was dazzled by the riot of colors: painted doors, vibrant fabrics drying in the sun, and the bright hues of wildflowers. She watched from the safety of the tree line, fascinated by the bustling activity. One evening, a young girl, no older than 10, ventured into the woods gathering berries. Her name was Ilara, and she was known for her adventurous spirit and keen observation. As Ilara reached for a particularly plump berry bush, she froze. Before her, partially hidden by the foliage, was a creature of myth, an ice panda, its crystalline fur gleaming in the twilight. Fear, quickly followed by awe, flickered in Ilara's eyes. Lumina, sensing the girl's trepidation, remained still, her sapphire eyes wide and unblinking. There was no aggression in the panda's gaze, but a profound, gentle curiosity. Slowly, Ilara extended a hand, palm open. Lumina, instinctively trusting, took a hesitant step forward. Their fingers, one warm and soft, the other cool and smooth as polished ice, almost touched. Just then, a frantic shout echoed from the village. Ilara's father, a gruff hunter named Borin, had come looking for her. He saw the girl and the legendary creature, and his hunter's instinct took over. With a roar, he raised his net, ready to capture what he perceived as a valuable, perhaps dangerous beast. Lumina, startled by the sudden aggression, recoiled, a low, grumbling growl emanating from her chest. Her crystalline scales shimmered with a warning light. But Ilara, however, stepped between them. "No, father, don't! She means no harm," she pleaded, her voice trembling but firm. Borin hesitated, caught between his daughter's desperate plea and his primal instincts. Lumina, seeing the girl's protectiveness, felt a strange warmth spread through her. It was a sensation she hadn't known existed outside the geothermal pockets of her home valley. From that day, a fragile, unspoken truce formed. Ilara secretly visited Lumina, bringing her special frost berries and sharing stories of the human world. Lumina, in turn, showed Ilara hidden springs and the most beautiful ice formations. Ilara learned that the ice panda was not a beast to be feared, but a gentle guardian, a spirit of pure winter that protected its home and humbled those who sought to exploit its magic. Word of the shimmering bear eventually reached a distant city, attracting the attention of a wealthy, unscrupulous collector named Malachi. Driven by greed and the desire for unique trophies, Malachi dispatched a team of seasoned trackers and hunters to capture the mythical creature. Lumina, warned by the heightened chatter of forest creatures and a growing unease in the air, sensed the impending danger. Ilara, too, felt a chill that had nothing to do with the mountain air. She rushed to Lumina, her face pale with fear. "They're coming, Lumina. They want to catch you." Lumina, her instincts honed by generations of survival in the unforgiving mountains, knew she had to act. She couldn't fight an army of humans. Her strength lay in her understanding of the ice and snow. Leading Ilara away from the village, Lumina took her to a hidden glacial cave, a secret known only to her kind. Inside, the ice pulsed with an ancient energy, and crystalline formations hung like chandeliers. As they hid, the hunters arrived, their loud voices and heavy footsteps desecrating the quiet forest. Malachi, a man with cold, calculating eyes, ordered his men to scour the area. They found traces of Lumina, her unique paw prints unmistakable. The chase was on. Lumina, using her profound knowledge of the terrain, led the hunters on a relentless pursuit through treacherous icy ravines and blinding blizzards. She was a ghost in the snow, her iridescent fur vanishing in the swirling white. She created diversions, triggering small avalanches, guiding them over unstable ice bridges, always staying one step ahead. Ilara, observing Lumina's strategic brilliance, realized the ice panda wasn't just a mythical creature. She was a master of her environment, a force of nature. The hunters, exhausted and disoriented, began to falter. Malachi, however, was relentless. He had heard tales of the ice panda's connection to the aurora and decided on a desperate plan. He would set a trap at the highest, most exposed point of the mountain where the aurora was most potent, hoping to lure Lumina out. As night fell, the aurora began its celestial dance, more magnificent than ever before. Malachi's trap was set, a massive net rigged with enchanted ice-snaring spells spread across a high plateau. Lumina, feeling the powerful pull of the aurora, approached the plateau cautiously. She sensed the trap, the discordant energy disrupting the pure hum of the mountain. But she also saw Ilara, who had followed, hidden behind a rock, signaling frantically. Instead of avoiding the trap, Lumina had an idea. She knew the power of the aurora, not just as a beautiful display, but as a source of energy for her kind. With a surge of resolve, she deliberately stepped into the trap's perimeter. As the net sprang, Lumina didn't struggle against it. Instead, she focused her will, drawing upon the immense energy of the aurora that pulsed around her. Her crystalline fur began to glow with intense, otherworldly light. The air crackled with energy. The ice in her scales vibrated, shimmering brighter and brighter until she seemed to become pure light. Malachi and his men, astonished, watched as the trap became a cage of pure light. The enchanted net, designed to snare ice, now amplified Lumina's intrinsic connection to it. With a final magnificent surge, Lumina released a wave of concentrated aurora energy. It wasn't an attack, but a burst of pure, freezing light that swept over the plateau. The hunters, caught in the ethereal wave, felt an overwhelming chill that pierced their very bones. It wasn't harmful, but it was a cold so profound, so ancient, that it stripped away their greed, their lust for capture, leaving them shivering and humbled. Malachi, his face ashen, saw his ambition freeze and shatter like brittle ice. When the light subsided, Lumina was gone. The net lay shredded, dissipated into sparkling dust. Only a faint, shimmering trail remained, leading back towards the untouched peaks. Ilara emerged from her hiding spot, tears streaming down her face, not of sadness, but of wonder and relief. She knew Lumina was safe, returned to the heart of her icy domain. From that day forward, the legend of the ice panda grew, but with a new chapter. It wasn't just a creature of myth, but a guardian of the mountains, a spirit of pure winter that protected its home and humbled those who sought to exploit its magic. Ilara, now grown, became the valley's storyteller, sharing the tale of Lumina, the ice panda who taught them about respect, balance, and the enduring magic of the Frost Peak Mountains. And sometimes, on the clearest, coldest nights, when the aurora burned brightest, a faint, iridescent shimmer could be seen high on the highest peak, a silent promise that the spirit of the ice panda still watched over the land.